The History of Mariachi Music by Marcy Brinkman. Mariachi music is commonly associated with the Mexican culture. But where did it come from? How did the Mexicans get the ideas for their instruments and the unique sound of the music from their region? Prior to the arrival of Cortez, the music of Mexico, played with rattles, drums, reed and clay flutes, and conch shell horns, was an integral part of religious celebrations. As Christianity spread, in many areas these instruments gave way to those imported by the Spanish: violins, guitars and harps, brass horns, and woodwinds. Scholars of music have argued for years over the origin of the word mariachi. The explanation that appears most frequently is that it is a variation of the French word for wedding, or marriage, and comes from the time in the 19th century when Maximilian, a Frenchman, was Emperor of Mexico. According to the myth, the mariachi was named by the French after the celebration with which it was most commonly associated, a wedding. In a complete mariachi group today, there are 6 to 8 violins, 2 trumpets, and a guitar. These are all standard European instruments. Added to these are some that were invented after being introduced to the instruments of the Europeans. There is a high-pitched, round-backed guitar called the viola, a deep-voiced guitar called a guitarro N, and a Mexican folk harp. Mariachi uses sharply contrasting sounds to create the unique sound of the heart and soul of Mexico. Mariachi began in the Mexican state of Jalisco, in the town of Cocula. The principal music played by the early mariachis was the son, which was a mixture of folk traditions from Spain, Mexico, and Africa. Each region in Mexico has its own variation of the son. From the very beginning, mariachi music was meant to be danced to. Their traditional dance technique is a zapateado, which is a distinctive type of footwork that originated in Spain. When dancing the zapateado, the performers skillfully drive the heels of their boots or shoes into the dance floor, pounding out swift, often syncopated rhythms, which complement the different rhythm of the musical instruments. The zapateado can literally reduce even the most resistant dance floor to splinters because of the force with which it is danced. Each of the regional variations of the son has its traditional style of dance. The lyrics of the sons frequently describe country life, in particular the plants, animals, and people of the region. The lyrics are very suggestive and often use the imagery of the courtship of farm animals to describe the relations of men and women. The traditional attire of a mariachi consists of a waist-length jacket and tightly fitted wool pants, which open slightly at the ankle to fit over a short riding boot. The whole outfit is often ornamented with embroidery, intricately cut leather designs, or silver buttons in a variety of shapes. Although the music dates back hundreds of years, there are no legendary Bachs or Beethovens of mariachi. It was the music of country people, and groups who played were almost entirely unknown outside their own region. That is, until a mariachi band founded by Gaspar Vargas in 1898 went from Jalisco to Mexico City. They were invited to play at the inauguration of the president in 1934. Gaspar Vargas' son, Sylvester, took over for him in 1928 and hired a trained musician as a musical director for the band. That musical director is still actively involved with the Mariachi Vargas to this day. Mariachis often help celebrate the great moments in the lives of the Mexican people. In many areas of Mexico, it is not unusual to be awakened by the sound of Las Mañanitas, the traditional song for saints' days or birthdays. Mariachis are commonly hired for baptisms, weddings, patriotic holidays, and even funerals. It is not unusual for the deceased to leave a list of favorite songs to be sung beside the grave at burial. Mariachi music has been incorporated into the Roman Catholic Church's most sacred ritual, the Mass. The first mariachi Mass was the concept of a Canadian priest, Father Juan Marco Leclerc. and has been celebrated in Cuernavaca since 1966. It started in a small chapel, but news of it spread so rapidly and the crowds grew so large that the regular Sunday mariachi mass had to be moved to the Cathedral of Cuernavaca. It is now frequently performed throughout Mexico and in many areas of the United States where people of Mexican origin live.